All right, welcome race fans to a little IndyCar racing here tonight. Tonight it is the Simulated Sports Car Association's SSCA here, a little iRacing in the IndyCar, the dollar at IndyCar, and looking for a good time tonight. Sparta, Kentucky, 120 laps on the board here tonight. Helping me call the action is none other than Sean Peachin. You can hear him on every Tuesday night here on ETV Live with the OpenPaddock.net. Matt Close joining us tonight. He'll be putting us out down on pit road and various other places. Of course, John Wessling, Magic Fingers, pushing the buttons on the cameras for you tonight. And Sean, this is right up your alley, my friend.
Well, yeah, thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here to watch this IndyCar racing. Obviously, American open wheel racing is my forte. I can't wait to see these guys go around Kentucky. It's always proved to put on a hell of a show, and I don't think that we're going to be disappointed at this race today.
You bet. And, you know, they've had one race into the season already. This is race number 2 for these guys. So let's take them down through the points here. We'll start out with the IndyCar team points with the SSCA group here. Starting at the top, the V-Apex Racing Team, the red team, that's going to be Andy Blanfield and Nick Leaf. They're at the top of the pile here, 60 points to the good side, Sean.
Yeah, they've got a lead over Slipstream Racing. One driver I see on that one for Jacob Desmarais. He is down 9 points at this time.
And then sitting in third position is going to be Poke Slow, Jeremy Poole. Jeremy Poole, who has the fastest time in qualifying thus far tonight. And Terry Matheson, they're 46 points, 14 behind the lead.
Yeah, I'm bringing up P4 in the team championship is Vapex Racing Team Black. J.C. Arnold and John G. Hill at the controls of those Vapex Team Black cars, 22 points off.
And then rounding out to the 5 for Vapex Racing Team, the white team, German Affendor and Ted Stevens. Ted Stevens, he's the head honcho around here for Vapex Racing Group, sponsor of the race series tonight. 29 points off the lead. And Sean, let's take him through the individual points. I'll do the top 5 here. Jacob Desmarais, he's sitting at the top, 51 points to the good side. 11 points behind him is going to be Nick Leap. Nick Leap looking for a good night here tonight. Carlos Passos, he's sitting in the number 3 spot, 16 points behind the lead, only 5 points back in Nick Leap. In fourth position is Eric Davis. He's 19 points back. Looks like about 3 points back from Carlos Passos. Jeremy Poole, who still has the fastest qualifying time here tonight at Kentucky, he sits in the number 5 spot, 23 points off the lead.
Yeah, well, starting in P6, we have John G. Hill, followed in P7 by Michael Du Temple. P8 is the boss, Ted Stevens, and P9 is Tim Miller. And P10, Andy Banfield, actually a personal friend of mine, Andy Banfield. So that rounds out your top 10s in the points.
All right, and tell you what, looking for a good time here tonight. Sparta, Kentucky, 120 laps on the board here, guys. This is the second time I believe I've called an open wheel race, so this is something a little bit new for me. But Sean, you've been around these Indy cars quite a bit. What do we expect to see out of these open wheelers here tonight at Kentucky?
Well, with this older chassis that we're seeing on track, you can expect some pack racing. There's going to be absolute, probably flat out through the corners. One of the things you're going to have to worry about is pulling up behind another car. You're going to start to lose some of that front-end aero grip once that wing gets in. But Kentucky is one of those big speedways that produces fantastic racing, handling, speed. You kind of need a little bit of all of it. On top of that, Kentucky has put out quite a few thrillers on pit road with some of the pit strategy, so it'll be interesting to see if we have that same kind of fallout in this race as well. But the race is going to be fast. 120 laps is nothing around here.
All right, and I'll tell you what, motors are starting to fire up. They are lining up down there on pit road, getting ready to cut these ponies loose here tonight. Let's start them out on the pole tonight. Jeremy Poole qualifying in with a blistering 24.512. Right beside him on the outside, Michael Du Temple in that number 2 spot in the 09 machine. In third position, Brad Sanford. Eric Davis, he'll be starting on the outside in 4th position. Starting in 5th on the inside, Terry Mathencian. And on the outside of him in the 27 car in 6th position, Joe Branch. German Affendor, he'll be starting in 7th position in that 25 car. In the number 8 is number 8, Gary Brokenhagen. And then Nick Leaf, he'll be starting in 9th position. In 10th, Russell Clayson. John?
Well, starting P11, we have, again, Andy Banfield. Next to him is going to be big boss Ted Stevens. Josh Hammett will be P13. Miles Crabb will be P14. P15 is going to be Rob Blankis. Sorry. P16, Tim Miller. 17th, Andy Stahl. 18th, Pierre Borden. 19th, Jacob Desmar. And 20th, John Ailes.
Aaron Reinhold, he'll be starting in 21st position back here in the back. Carlos Passos, he'll be starting in 22nd. The number 70 of Rob Whitmore, he'll be starting 23rd position tonight. J.C. Arnold in that 13 car, back at 24th. 25th will be the number 80 of John G. Hill. Sam Taylor in 26th. And rounding out your field tonight is going to be actually Sam Taylor. That's going to be it, Cowboys. So pace car has pulled out. They're going to lead him around track here, 1 lap. Pace car will pull off, go down pit road, looking for speeds of over 200 miles.
Yeah, it's just going to be crazy, and we're going to have to watch out. Hopefully there's not a bunch at the field that causes a lot of accidents or anything to happen. That would be terrible. But with this pack racing, one false move could end the night for a lot of these cars.
Yeah, you know, Sean, unlike the stock car where, you know, you rub up against the wall, even rub up another car, you know, the door handle stuff, you know, you get some bent sheet metal, pull it down to the pit, you might lose a couple of laps, but here, I'll tell you what, you don't go door handle to door handle here, you just wind up destroying your car and your night's pretty much over with. So these guys got to be pretty careful, you know, with each other out here on the track.
Yeah, and one of the things that you see with open wheel racing, the American open wheel racing, is that these drivers on this particular event will show that respect to the other driver. There may be one or two that make a couple silly mistakes, but for the most part, should be a great, clean race.
And the green flag is out. We are off and running here at Kentucky Speedway. Poole gets a huge jump on the field here, guys. Looking down the, going down, through the back here a little bit. As looks like they're getting into pretty much a single file line back here quite a ways. So I got a funny feeling we'll probably see it this way for quite some time.
Yeah, so far it looks like everybody's doing just fine, setting in for a long race. There's a lot of racetrack out here, so it's not going to really be that big of an issue with room. So there should be plenty of room for everybody to go, and it looks like everybody's doing just fine so far as they're already flying around this facility.
120 laps on the board here, over 200 miles an hour. Looks like 216 miles an hour going into the turns, guys. So I'll tell you what, they go lickety-split around Kentucky Motor Speedway here.
Yeah, it is great for that high-speed action. With the new chassis that we'll see in the real Indy cars, if they ever head back to Kentucky, it might be a different story. But this formula always provided fantastic racing, and so far it looks like everybody's just going to go single file for now, feel out the conditions, and get some laps under their belts before really starting to jockey around.
You bet. And, you know, again, unlike a lot of stock car racing here, these guys are single file pretty early in the game. Now, usually, you know, when we're here with the stock cars, you know, they're getting after it for the first 3 or 4 laps. You're going to see a lot of two-wide action taking place for about 4 or 5 laps in, you know, as these guys get straightened out. But here tonight in these open wheelers, immediately going right to pretty much single file action as these guys, I assume, they're trying to figure out what their car's going to do here tonight, what they got to do to get around the car in front of them.
Well, it looks like we got a pass coming now. German Affendor in P6 looking to go up the inside of Terry Matheson, and does. One of the things that we have to worry about here, though, with this particular setup is, again, once you lose that aero on the front wing, you're going to kind of wash up the track. You're not getting that same airflow over the wing, and therefore the tires are having to do more work. And sometimes it's just not meant to be in these cars, especially how aero-dependent they can be at times.
Right, and Ted Stevens, our our host tonight, Ted Stevens, just coming out of the pits, unknown what was going on with that machine of his, showing back here in 26th position as he goes up through the gears, re-enters the track here. I don't know if he's going to lose a lap here or not. In fact, he did. He lost 1 lap. So Ted Stevens already 1 lap down. Trouble with that number 32 car machine of his. So he'll have to work to get it back. Caution coming out here for the first time here tonight. And it looks like it's going to be the number 8 machine of Gary Brokenhagen, guys.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure what happened there, trying to sift through it now, actually.
Looks like he got a little bit of help here, guys. Let's take it on down to Magic Fingers for the E-Wine. John, what do we got, bud?
Well, let's see if we can cue this up, guys. See what happened here. We was off to a pretty good start. Everybody seemed like they were pretty much just single file. There's a pack of 4 cars here. He comes out, he just gets loose, guys, and he gets tangled up with that 55 machine right behind the inside racing machine, and he airborne. The 55 is going to go airborne, guys.
Yeah, it certainly was a big accident there. Looks like you're right, John. Looks like coming out of corner number 2, he just got a little bit loose, and then behind him collected the car behind, and then it was just hold on and go into dodge mode there.
And it looks like the 3 car of Andy Banfield, he's going to take a major hit as well. So this may end the night for at least 2 cars here tonight, possibly 3. Talking about it here pre-race, guys. Remember, these aren't stock cars. You just can't pull the sheet metal back out, and send them back out. This much damage pretty much will end your night. Let's take it on down to Matthew Close. Matt, have you got anything for us, bud?
It just looks like an exciting race so far, and I'm looking at it, and it looks like these cars are so aerodynamic. They're just looking that they need to get in the line. And on the Ted Stevens, they're just saying he had a minor infraction. The car wouldn't start to get on the grid, and they hope that they'll get a couple laps back here before the end. But other than that, it's up to you guys.
All right, so first caution coming out here at Kentucky Motor Speedway with the open wheel cars tonight. Of course, the race being sponsored, Racing Group and Inside Sim Race. With the Inside Sim Racing Group, catch them at InsideSimRacing.com. I tell you what, they've come a long, long way since the first days, kind of like ETV Live starting out. But check Inside Sim Racing at InsideSimRacing.com. Why don't we go ahead and step away? We'll take our first commercial break of the night. You're watching live Cowboy ETV Live, Kentucky Motor Speedway, so don't wander off. We'll be right back. All right, we are back live here at ETV Live at Kentucky Speedway, and before it gets too late here, I need to say hello to Dalton, England. Dalton tuning in over here. Dalton, part of the ETV Live group, and 12 years old. I'll tell you what, a big fan of ETV Live, and quite the little mascot around here. And Dalton, 12 years old, he's got school tomorrow morning. I know he's got to get to bed and get that learning in. So I'll tell you what, Dalton, always good to have you along, son. So we will see you again, I'm sure. Back out here at the Speedway, working caution number 1, guys. Came out in lap 7. The 8 car, the 55, the 3 involved. And Sean, all of them able to get some repairs and make it back out on the track. However, starting with Ted Stevens, he's a lap down because of an earlier issue. But Andy Branfield, Russell Klesson, Gary Borkenhagen, of course, all involved in that caution. Actually 1 or more laps down. Gary Bolkin 3 laps down with repairs.
Yeah, right now it looks like Ted Stevens and Andy Banfield are probably going to be your best bet at trying to get back on the lead lap. The problem is they're going to be at the back of the line, going to have to work their way all the way up and past those leaders to get back onto the lead lap, which is obviously no easy task. You're going to have some serious pace. We could see maybe some fuel strategy, some pit strategy come into play to try and do that. But one of the things that's going to be in repaired those cars are, and if there's any lingering damage from that incident.
And you know, talking about aerodynamics, you know, these cars are of course built a lot different than a stock car. Stock cars like kind of driving a shoebox around this track. But aerodynamics, how does a draft come into play in these cars?
Well, actually, the draft does work. I mean, you get in that slipstream, you get a good run, and you want to get down in the corner and make it happen. Like I said, you don't want to get in there. You don't want to be following too much behind the car in front of you going into the corner, but coming down the straightaway, you can get a real nice slipstream and make that move, you know, with really little to no effort at all, due to the aerodynamics. So we'll just have to see how that plays into things as well.
You bet. And mispronounce that name. It's actually Ted Severns, not Ted Stevens. Ted Stevens is actually the he's the leader of the gang here. But anyway, taking the green flag here, just catching up some notes in the chat room. Thanks for reminding me, guys. Taking the lead here. Back in the saddle again, Jeremy Poole out in front with Michael DuTemple, Bran Sadford, Eric Davis, and Terry Matheson, your top 5 up here coming down the backstretch. I'll tell you what, these guys, they get right to the gas pedal in these cars, already over 200 miles an hour coming off of turn 3 into 4.
Yeah, it looks like everybody's doing exactly what we had last time. We're just all getting comfortable with the race, shake those caution webs, make sure that we don't have a caution breeds caution. But right now, Jeremy Poole holds on to a nice lead as Michael DuTemple does battle, but it looks like he's going to have Brad Sanford looking to make a move here before too long as this first group of about 6 cars pull away from the pack.
I tell you, just under over 24 seconds around Kentucky Speedway. That's about an 8 to 10 second difference between open wheel cars and stock cars here at this track. So it's a quick trip around this 1.5 mile track. I believe it's banked at about 14 degrees, if I'm not mistaken, into turns here. So not a whole lot of banking. Probably at at over 200 miles an hour, not enough to help. But caution coming out again here, guys, as we try to cycle back here and figure out who brought this one out. And I'm still looking, looks like it's going to be the 92 car, guys, Pierre Borden. Don't know if he had any help, but he is going for an absolute e-ticket ride here at Kentucky Speedway. Holy cow. Let's take it on down to Magic Finger John Wessling for the E-Wine.
And guys, let's cue this one back. See what happened here. These guys are just flying around this track. Kind of having trouble getting grip on this track. Oh, they're just going to collide here. Bad spotter. Car just came down, JD. Made collision with the car below it. I didn't quite catch the number on it. He's going to roll over and over again into the corner. These guys are going to take big damage with these cars. I hope he ducked his head, JD.
Yeah, big time, Cowboy. I'll tell you what, if there's a parachute, I'd be pulling that parachute cord too. Looks like the 25 car of German Affendor, guys. You know, I don't think it was. I don't think it was a 25's fault. It looks like the 92 might have just come down just a little too far, Sean, and possibly rubbing tires there. And
Yeah,
of course,
basically what
when that happens, go ahead.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Anyways, the 92, yeah, look, he just was running the wide line. The other car there running low, and the 92 rather, excuse me, just came down and clipped that wheel. And what happens is, because these wheels are exposed, unlike in stock, once those wheels hit, you're almost guaranteed to go airborne when they make contact like that. And obviously you saw the end result. That should be the end of Pierre Borden's race as he went up into the catch fence. So nasty lick there, and just bad, yeah, just bad spotting, it looks like.
And I think let's take it on down to Matthew Close. Matthew, anything happening down there?
So this time down, they had a whole line of cars come down. They put 4 fresh tires on it, but 7 cars, the front 7 stayed out. Miles, starting with Miles Cabré and going all the way back to about, it looks like maybe Carlos Payos, I'm thinking. And this is going to put Jeremy Poole back in the traffic, and then this would cause a lot of trouble for our leaders, as we've seen him before races here on ETV, and it's going to be exciting to see him maybe try and work his way back up through the field.
Looks like looks like Carlos Passos has stayed out. So has Andy Small. Those two have elected to stay out apparently, and looks like Sam Taylor maybe. Well, actually, Sam Taylor's in pits right now. Not sure why. Okay, there goes his pit time. 3.6-second stop for Sam Taylor. But Andy Small staying out, not taking a pit stop here. And Carlos Passos not pitting either, so elected to stay out. Carlos Passos up here in the front of the pack. But caution number 2 here, guys, at Kentucky Motor Speedway. Let's go ahead and get a couple of plugs in here, guys. Let's talk about this VRC Mark II virtual racing team. And let me tell you something. If you haven't seen this thing yet, you need to check this out. A racing simulation. A simulation racing cockpit, just read the script, JD. A racing simulation cockpit designed by a championship race car driver, Bob Earl, who understands what it means to have a comfortable racing seat. Now, you know, Sean, you know, for a custom-built racing chassis to do the sim racing, I mean, who better to have someone design your racing chassis than someone who's actually driven a race car? Bob Earl, and he's a championship race car driver. This design features a fully adjustable racing seat frame, additional monitor stand, and shifter mount sold separately. High quality and affordable, $349, cowboy. You can see it at BobEarlRacing.com. Order one tonight, BobEarlRacing.com. Like I said, Sean, I mean, who better than to have designed one of these simulation racing cockpits than a real race car driver?
Oh, I agree 100%. I think you get a guy in there who knows what first off, he knows how it feels to be in the car. He knows where things need to be mounted. He knows the comfort level that drivers require. Because, I mean, if you look at it, some of these races can take quite a long time. And when you start looking at the Le Mans Series racing, some of these longer NASCAR hauls. So, yeah, I mean, I definitely would put my trust behind somebody who's actually been a championship driver going forward.
Absolutely, and I'll tell you what, we're getting ready to restart here at Kentucky Speedway. Up in front is German Affendor in that number 25 machine. Carlos Passos, who elected to stay out this time around, he's right beside him up here on the outs branch. John G. Hill, Jeremy Poole, who started out on the pole, sits back here in a nice spot. We are 18 laps in the books, 120 on the board here tonight, so still plenty of racing left to go here, even at 217 miles an hour, Cal. I'll tell you what, the night ain't over yet. Pre-race music brought to you tonight by HD Radio Network, HDRadioNetwork.com. Tune in or tune out, cowboy. That's the best classic rock station I've ever heard on the internet. Of course, you can always catch the ETV Live radio station as well. Just click on the link right there on the front of the home page. You can catch all the racing from here at ETV Live on the ETV Live radio. If you can't pull the stream here, or you got something else to do, Pace car pulling off, getting ready to go green here one more time, and German Appendor just absolutely jumps on the throttle, and he is gone, Cowboy.
Yeah, German says goodbye to the field. He got a great start there. It's going to be on those cars, the second, third, and fourth place car, to do everything they can to catch him, which they should here pretty soon. But a great jump for German, and way to take advantage of that.
You know, I've seen this happen before, Sean. I hate to keep going back to the stock car stuff, but that's what I'm used to doing. You know, I've seen guys get a big jump on the field, but then you got 2x2, 2x3 back here in the back of them. There's Jeremy Poole looking for a way around the Carlos Passos up here, and Joe Branch kind of hogging up the racetrack up here. But, you know, 2x2 here working that draft, it will be no time at all before they catch up to that number 25 machine of Appendor up there in the front.
Yeah, it looks like they're really just, it looks like, you know, obviously the faster cars are going to rise. They've just got to be careful, be patient, work his way through traffic. It's still early. You don't want to take any unnecessary risks. You are the faster car. You're not going to want to jump out there and get yourself into trouble like we've already seen on 2 separate occasions, as we've got some cars now really moving nicely through the pack.
And Michael Temple on pit road just came off pit road back out on the track. Unknown what happened to Michael Temple, but looks like a quick stop for him, and he's back out on the track. He's in the 20th position now. But we also got looks like Andy Banfield also sitting on pit road, number 3 machine. Now that number 3 car was involved in that first caution on lap 7, so this may be residual damage done to Banfield's machine down there on pit road. But back out here on the track, things are shaping up nicely here, Sean. Now we're starting to get some 2x2 action up here in the front of the pack, up around 13th position or so. 21 car of Des Maris up on the outside with Andy Small down, or Andy Small was down on the bottom, moved that up a notch. It's like Rob and Gleckis up here in the 53 car.
Yeah, we've got quite a bit of pack here, like you said, around the 13th, but let's take it down to the pit road here.
Update on what happened to Michael Temple is on that last restart, he actually jumped, he got a black flag, and he had to come in for a stop and go and serve that penalty. It's such a shame he's been running out front a strong car all night to make such a stupid mistake on a restart like that, guys. Back up to you, JD.
Wow, and I'll tell you what, Jacob Demaris just took it 3 wide up on the outside and got around Rob Unglinkis and Andy Small down here. Now single file action, so I'll tell you what, that bright yellow machine of Jacob and that 21 car on the move to the front here.
Yeah, he's certainly taking no prisoners right now, doing all that he can to get to the front of the field. You know, with these Indy cars, you got these wide tires. You get a lot of grip out of those tires, so you can really run that high line, run that dirty line on the top of the racetrack and make it work. And he's certainly using it to his advantage as he's charging now up through the field. So great job.
Challenge for position back here, about 7th position or so. Brad Sanford down here on the bottom with Carlos Passos up on the top here. Now remember, Carlos Passos did not pit. He has yet to pit tonight, so Carlos Passos on older tires than about 99% of the field here tonight, as Brad Sanford makes the pass here for 6th position.
Yeah, great action on the track. Looks like the guys are giving themselves some room. They've taken notes from the caution, using their spotter a bit wisely, keeping their lanes, and that's facilitating actually some phenomenal racing as we see these cars move through the field. And the guys who haven't necessarily pit yet are going to suffer a little bit from not having those fresh tires, even though it's a high-speed oval.
And Sean, I'll tell you what, they have caught up to the leader up here. Jeremy Poole sits in the number 3 spot. Remember, he restarted in 5th position here just moments ago here. Already worked himself up. Remember, Appendor got such a huge jump on the field, it was just a matter of time. And now Joe Branch on his, well, I don't know if you'd call it a bumper or not, Cowboy, but I'll tell you what, looking for a way around. Oh! Something happened to Branch. Branch backs off the throttle big time as he lets Poole and looks like Matheson go around him. So something going on with that number 27 machine as he will duck to the inside and let the 14 and the 99 go by. So Jeremy, who started out on the pole, Sean, now chasing down the leader up here.
Yeah, Jeremy's obviously dominant car here. It looks like a little bit of a pinch there from the leader, Affendor, so not going to make it easy for you to get by, but he probably should just use discretion as the better part of valor, because he does not want to get tangled up with Jeremy, and Jeremy may want to wait and just, you know, kind of pick his spots to make that move and wait till he gets a good run, because it's obvious that Jeremy's not going to let him by as he goes now up to the inside for the lead.
Jeremy pulled after the lead here side by side with Affendor coming off turn 4, and he's going to get it, coming to the start-finish line, score another one for Jeremy Poole as Terry Matheson now fills in that second spot. Affendor dropping back to third. Joe Branch, who was putting the pressure on big time on the leaders up here, has fallen back. Looking at his lap times here, it looks like he's fallen off just a little bit.
Yeah, that car on those tires might not be working quite as well. He may be getting out of the barrel push as well through the corners. It's causing him to lose a little bit of time. He'll have to definitely get that sorted out. But yeah, it looks like Jeremy Poole, Terry Matheson, they've done the job, and now it looks like Matheson thinks that he's got a little bit of something for Jeremy Poole as they go down the back straightaway into 3.
You know, talking to one of the drivers earlier, about these cars, Joe Branch, he's talking about tenths of a second making a huge difference here. Of course, when you're doing over 200 miles an hour, a tenth of a second is a long way, is a pretty long distance on the track here. So even though we're looking at lap times 24/7, you know, we're looking at just 24/7 20s to Poole's 24/6s. So even a tenth of a second makes a huge difference here.
Yeah, a tenth of a second really is a lot, and one of the things that the drivers that are chasing for position need to be careful with is that if they do begin to really push and lose that time, you don't want to unnecessarily do more damage to your car than to your traction capability, that is, and also you don't want to overdrive the car, because then you're going to degrade those tires even more, and you're not going to be running the optimal line. So just, you know, the drivers would behoove them to just settle down, take it easy, and run this race, and you know, don't push too hard, or you're not gonna like the result for sure.
Eric Davis back here in 5th position, looking at 4th position up here. Almost had him coming off the turn here, going down the backstretch. Has to get off the throttle here a little bit, tucked down there on the bottom. He's got Joe Branch up there in the front. Now I think it's Joe Branch is actually, I think his lap times are starting to fall off. That's what's bringing Eric Davis up close to him. But Eric Davis looking pretty good here tonight in 5th position. Back one notch. Started the race in 4th, but still in a good position here inside the top 5. So 37 laps in the books here at Kentucky Speedway. Of course, helping call the action tonight, none other than Open Paddock personality, celebrity, Sean Peachin along for the ride. Matt Close with the action down there on pit road. But well, let's talk a little bit about what we mentioned on Open Paddock last night. Something about calling your producer out, that's me, and giving me the keys to one of these race cars, Sean?
I don't know. It'd be interesting to get out there and run with you around Kentucky there, JD, and see what you got. I think what we were talking about last night was for the WRC. They've got Rally Finland coming up. You know, maybe turn you loose in one of those cars, see how you go through the crests and the gravel hills of Finland. But yeah, I mean, anytime you want to get out here and jostle, I mean, I got no problem putting producers back in the producer booth.
All right, I'll tell you what, I may take you up on that one of these days. In the meantime, back there on the track, battling for the lead up here, Terry Matheson was taking a peek at Jeremy Poole here just a little bit ago. I think he's just kind of trying to see what Poole's going to do when he rolls up on the back of that car. You know, you always want to look back in the mirror and see who's back there. So Terry Matheson might be just kind of sizing up Poole here, getting ready to you know, for a pass here. But moving back through the field, pretty much single file. We've got one sitting down here in the pits. I believe that's going to be, I don't know if I can get back to it now. Looks like Andy Bansfield, the number 3 car, still sitting in the pits. He's losing quite a bit of the last. Remember, he was involved in that first caution, so I don't know whether he's even going to make it back out on the track now. He's 26 laps down already, so
yeah, he's going to be looking right now just to run some laps, see if there's any other accidents that happen, and try to collect points for that championship. But yeah, I feel bad for my buddy Andy. I've drove with him quite a few times on the iRacing Sim, and it's always a blast. And he's a great dude, great person. And it's just I'm really sad that the race I'm calling him in, and he's met misfortune, and he's 27 laps down now. So I feel terrible for him.
Andy Small here in 13th position. Looks like he was taking a look at Sam Taylor up here. Go. He's looking for a way around it as well. Now, here's the other thing. Experiencing these cars, Sean, you know, you're pretty much flat-footed all the way around Kentucky Speedway. Just a little bit off the turns if you get caught up in a draft. Of course, careful about that. But, you know, when it comes to trying to set somebody up for a pass, it's pretty hard to do, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is in these cars, especially for like Terry Mathinson now, who you said sizing up Jeremy Poole for the lead. You know, one of the big issues again is that arrow push behind those cars, and it is kind of difficult to make a pass because you absolutely have to have that run going down the back straightaway or the front straightaway before you go into the corner. I mean, because once you get behind that air, it's going to be really hard for you to catch up. So that's where you're going to see those lines, the different lines used by Jeremy Poole and Terry Mathinson come into play, as Terry's going to be looking to, you know, switch his line to get the best possible run on Jeremy he can to pull that move off down the back straightaway, whereas Jeremy's just going to have his head down, focused on just, you know, hitting his marks, doing his lap, getting ahead as much as he possibly can, and it really looks like that's what he's doing, his nose to the grindstone with mirrors just full of Mathinson. Right now, if I'm any associate of his team, I'm saying, Jeremy, do not look behind you, look straight ahead of you. We will tell you if you need to worry. Just put out laps, man, put out blinders like you're doing now, and just don't look back, because once you look back, you start missing your marks, your consistency goes out the window.
Absolutely. And up here in 11th position, Rob Unglinix, I think is how you pronounce it. Rob Unglinix. We'll just call him Rob in that 53 machine. He's been working over Jacob Desmaris up to looking for a way around. 48 laps in the books here as he comes off turn 4, takes the high line up here. Looks like he might have setting up a pass up high, can't get the job done. Down there on the bottom, covering that hole up pretty good.
Yeah, he's doing a good job to protect that position for sure.
Another battle shape up here, 15th position. Tim Miller back here in that blue and white machine chasing down Carlos Passos for a position here. That's going to be the 2-car in 14th position, dead ahead. And caution coming out here for the third time here, guys, tonight. And let's see if we can cycle around. Ooh, I just saw somebody get airborne. It's going to be Sam Taylor in that number 23 car, guys, in about 13th position, 12th, 13th position here. Looks like he might have had help. Roll it back here. Looks like he might have had some help, guys, from that number 02 machine. Let's take it on down to Magic Fingers with the E-Wine. John, what do we got, man?
Let's see if we can see what happened here, guys. Had a pretty good run here. Oh, and he just makes contact with a 2, and it looked like I seen a little warp there too, JD. I don't know if that came into play or not, but he's going to roll. He's going to take a pretty good roll down into the corner here.
You know, I'm looking at, I've heard this talked about before here, netcode, and I'm looking at the 2-car, guys, the 02 machine, that green and red machine, and they actually don't touch. I think it's one of those warp netcode things. I don't really think it's any one of them's fault, but I'll tell you what, it certainly took that 23 car for an E-ticket ride. As we work caution number 3 here at Kentucky Speedway. Looks like they're all coming down pit road, Matt.
Yeah, they're all coming down pit road this time. We're probably going to see them all take 4 tires. And most of the drivers right now, they're just complaining the tightness, like you guys said, just taking the air off the front wing. wings, so we might see a few adjustments on the wings on these cars and a few tire pressure adjustments. But that 27 car of Joe Branch, I believe, he was complaining that he was a little loose when the car tucked up right behind him, as we saw earlier in the race. Jeremy Poole kind of put the nose right under his rear wing, and it got him a little bit loose up off the turn. He slid back a few car lengths, and they're just hoping that they can get those spots back, put the fresh 4 on, and like you guys said, those couple of tenths always matter with the fresh tires on the car.
You've had Carlos Passos making his first pit stop of the night with Andy Small. So 6.2 second stop for Passos, 5.1 second stop for Andy Small here this time around. So fresh tires for those drivers electing to stay out on the last couple of cautions. So caution number 3 here in Kentucky. One step away. We'll take a quick commercial break. You're watching live, ATV Live Cowboy, the only choice. So don't wander off. We'll be right back. Hey, JD here with ETV Live, and let me tell you something. If it's too big for the pickup truck and you need to move it, there's only one trucking company you need to call, and don't bother with the Yellow Pages Cowboy. I'll give you that number in a minute. Manufactured goods, automotive, technical equipment, furniture, even if you need a reefer, Gary Mercer Trucking Incorporated is the only choice, Cowboy. With locations in Mississauga, Ontario, Canada, Rancho Cucamonga, California, if you need to move it, store it, and keep it cold, you need to call Gary Mercer Trucking Incorporated. Long haul, short haul, or just across town, Gary Mercer has the best trained and qualified drivers to get your load from point A to point B with professionalism and on time. So remember, Hoss, if it don't fit in a pickup truck, you're going to need a real truck, Cowboy. Sponsors of ETV Live's Friday Night Showdown, Gary Mercer Trucking Incorporated, 1-800-668-2980. All right, welcome back to Kentucky Speedway. We are here with the SSCA, the Simulators Sports Car Association, and I'll tell you what, Ted Stevens, the head honcho of the group here with Inside Sim Racing, is a co-sponsor for the race here tonight. Interesting conversation Sean and I are having back here during commercial break, commenting on the fact that these cars don't seem to be passing each other very often, unlike the stock cars that we see. And one of the reasons for that, Sean, is the aerodynamics. We were talking about how sensitive these cars really are to aero changes here on it, and just a little bit of a disrupted air can throw one of these open wheel cars for a huge loop.
Yeah, with stock cars, I mean, cars are now becoming a bit more aero-dependent than what we used to see, but a lot of it comes down to mechanical grip. The best mechanical grip you can get out of there and make the setup work for you. With Indy cars, it's the opposite. You want to have as much aero grip as you possibly, especially on a track like this, vice the mechanical grip, and when you get into just a little bit of dirty air that comes off the car in front of you can wash out that front end, as we've talked about all night, can wash out the front end or can upset the aero balance on the car and cause you to have some difficulties overtaking. And that's, like I said before when we were watching Terry Matheson trying to make that move on Jeremy, he's going to have to work his line, vice trying to pass him with the aero and the setup.
Absolutely. Jeremy will back out in front. He's your pole sitter here for tonight. And I want to mention the 22 machine of Michael Dutempo, who started out on the outside. He's going to be restarting in 20th position here on lap 54. Green flag is out. Pool's going up through the gears, Cowboy, and we are off and running one more time here at Kentucky Speedway.
Yeah, it looks like everybody's off and running. We're going to see him span out into this kind of single file for the time being until we see the cars start to work in that arrow and drivers work that line and begin to make those overtakes. So good jump again for Jeremy, but Terry Mathinson is right on his tail again, giving chase. So he's not going to let Jeremy walk away with it.
Brad Sanford back here in 5th position, giving one up on the restart here to Eric Davis. So Brad Sanford just kind of falling back here a little bit. Don't know if it's car trouble or just taking it easy here. 56 laps in the book here, so we're coming up on about the halfway point here in just a few laps. Herman Appendor, who was involved in the caution on lap 14 in 6th position, so repairs made to that car. Looks like he's able to at least keep the speed up. Don't know whether he's going to be able to move forward any at all, but 215 miles an hour down the backstretch going into turn 3. German Appendor in that 25 car doing pretty good, hanging on to a top 10 position right now.
Yeah, that'd be a great run for German, honestly, as he's just trying to stay in there, stay in the fight. You never know what could happen. We're only about halfway through this race, so still a lot of some moves, but he's going to want to start thinking about his strategy and how he wants to go forward. Jimmy Poole and Terry Mathinson, who are looking like they're again scoping each other out here. They're going to be pulling away, so he's going to need to do something to stretch a little bit.
Check chat room over here. Of course, we don't want to neglect any of these guys, as we usually try to get everybody involved here. JBP in the house, JRO in the house. Got to put my glasses on to see some of these names. Some of them got them spelled. I can't even pronounce them. But Terminator, CMT in the house, SPR along for the ride over there in the chat room tonight. I hope you guys are enjoying the show. Caution coming out again here at Kentucky. See if we can cycle it back here. I'm hearing it's the number 7 machine of Branch. See if we can't find out what happened to Joe Branch. 27 machine of Joe Branch, rather. Roll it back on the monitor here. And every time this happens, usually they have some help.
Yeah, what it looks like here, JD, is that he was running his line in the middle, and he was actually tagged and sent into the wall, so a car riding up into his line and sends him into the wall. I don't know, I think John's working at the moment to get it, and then more contact with another car sending him airborne again, so somebody else is going to have terminal damage as well from that incident, who was well back in the pack. I'm a little bit surprised that he wasn't able to avoid it.
Yeah, guys, I've seen quite a bit of warp on that one, too. We're seeing a lot of warp here tonight in these servers. At least I am. The same thing up there in the booth.
Just a little bit. I've talked about this netcode issue. Of course, that goes all the way to the old NASCAR 2003 days issues way back then with it even. Don't know whether it's related or not, but this time around, it looks like Eric Davis, I'm seeing some definite contact here on my screen, so I don't know whether that was netcode or not. But, looking at the monitor, watching the replay that John put up, I mean, it's definitely a little bit of warp there on the 27 machine. But I'll tell you what, going for another E-ticket ride here, caution number 4 here at Sparta, Kentucky Speedway. And we are right at the halfway point here at Kentucky Speedway with the Simulated Sports Car Associates. I'm just watching that replay again from Joe Branch. Absolutely went airborne. And I tell you what, if there was a parachute car, I think I would have popped it for sure. He must have flew about 30 feet into the air. And Matt, looks like Joe Branch is going to put it behind the wall and call it a night.
Yeah, heavy impactor. Again, you take these hits, especially of that size, and it's going to be done. So, you know, just with these tires and these suspension pieces, the tie rods and everything, just a little bit of contact will bend those out of whack, and you're done. So.
All right, and I'll tell you what. We'll go ahead and get another plug in here tonight. Let's talk about OpenPaddock.net, shall we? You want to join my partner here, Sean Peachin and Company, with OpenPaddock.net every Tuesday night, Cowboy. I tell you, live on ETV Live. We just started this here a couple of weeks ago. Of course, Open Paddock been doing it for quite some time, but just started doing a live show here on ETV Live. For all you ETV Live fans out there, join Sean and the boys, Motorsports in Brief. Catch the latest in the IndyCar updates, results, and of course the Mazda Road to Indy updates. So all live on ETV Live on Tuesday nights at 9:30. Want to make that correction? 9:30 p.m. here live on ETV Live. So Sean, a heck of a good show last night. Was very interesting, and yeah, I'd like to jump into one of those rally cars and.
Yeah, well, first off, I'm going to say, while we're still under caution, that I really appreciate you, JD and John, taking the show on. I mean, it has been a podcast, you know, now 150. Well, it was a podcast for 147 episodes. We're still doing the podcast now off of the live stream that you guys are giving us. So if you can't make the show, definitely head over to OpenPaddock.net and check out the podcast. Yep, we'll bring you all your IndyCar news, your Mazda Road to Indy, and the Motorsports in Brief, where we talk those rally cars. JD, I don't know. You know, I know that you Wild West people have no problem driving on unapproved roads, but you know, the gravel at 120 miles an hour is it's a bit daunting. So maybe we're pretty good. We got pretty good contact with some of the rally teams out there. I know that we're pretty good friends with Ford World Rally over in the WRC. So maybe if they ever come to the United States, or if you want to go down to Mexico for the WRC round, maybe we can see about letting maybe Yari Matty Latvala give you a ride around old Mexico and see how you like that.
You know, you and I got to work the booth a lot more often. This is a lot of fun. You know, 100.
Yeah, it is.
100 years ago, you know, when I was a kid, 100 years ago, I used to ride motorcycles. I don't know if that qualifies or not. I used to do a lot of dirt riding, motocross stuff. Of course, like I said, that was 100 years ago, so I don't even think they make ponies anymore for me that would go that fast. But I don't know if that experience counts, but I tell you what, any kind of racing, I'm still up for it, Cowboy. We don't have to make it about 20 laps, so I think the first one you and I talking about was Michigan, though, wasn't it, in an open-wheel car?
Yeah,
Let's start there.
All right, well, we can do that. We can go ahead and start it out there in Michigan International Speedway. We're going to be talking about speeds in excess of probably 230, 240 out of there, probably. I've yet to drive, actually, the IndyCar around Michigan, but you know what? Anytime you want, JD, you want to get in these open-wheel cars and do battle, just let me know, because I will, like I said, I have no problem sending producers back to the production booth and wearing the crown, because, you know, it's the last IndyCar race I did was at Texas Motor Speedway, and I was able to win that race on iRacing, so by about 4 seconds. So you're not racing a slouch here, there, JD.
Pass me the grease gun, Cowboy. Here we go. All right. I'll tell you what, you'll get this old cowboy out there one of these days and we'll do it. This might be another segment on Open Paddock or even ETV Live here. What's the latest in the Sean Peachin JD the Cowboy battle here in the open wheel?
Well, it's already 1-0 me because I throttled you in the HPD around Road Atlanta. So
you did
in all
that.
fairness.
Yes, you did. Yeah, but you handed me a car that I'd never driven before, and I'll tell you what, Cowboy, I couldn't even. You know, even the gear shifter was on the wrong side of the car. Anyway, get ready to go green here again at Kentucky. Out in front, Jeremy Poole taking a green flag. This is about his third or fourth tonight. Terry Matheson, who worked his way up to the front here, he was working over Poole there for a while. Eric Davis Sanford up here in front with the 09 machine. Newcomer Josh Hammett. We haven't seen him up here in the 66 machine, but he's restarted up here in the top 5. So back at it again. 65 laps in the books here at Kentucky Motor Speedway, Cowboy. It ain't over till the fat lady sing. And we're a long ways from that. Single file racing pretty much all the way back, but it won't take them long. These guys will start duking it out here just shortly.
Yep, like we've seen so far with the restarts tonight, cars spread out a little bit as they all try to go through. Now we're going to get that single file effect, but as drivers start to work their car rather, and work their lines, bunch back up again and start to make those moves. So it's been all about Jeremy Poole so far and Terry Matheson. Let's see if Terry's able to put together a move, but he's going to have a lot of intel and a lot of data to pull from here towards the end of the race if he's going to make a move on Jeremy.
Some racing happening back here, about 14th position. Aaron Reinhold up here on the top. He's going to let John Alez go past him in that 24 car, and then right behind, just about a half a lap ago, Rob Whitmore watching all that. Down in front of him, he gets position on Reinhold as well, and looks like Ted Severn's moving up a notch here also. But Ted Severns remember, he was caught a lap down here, able to get the wave around, got his lap back, now back on the lap here in 16th position. So in the meantime, out here in front, Terry Matheson, I think he's just kind of playing follow the leader here for a while. 69 laps in the book, so we still got a good number of laps here to go yet before it's over. So Matheson's got plenty of time in that 14 machine. Eric Davis, on the other hand, he sits about 4 or 5 car lengths back in 3rd position, that 65 car. So I'm sure he's just working with his crew chief, spotter, taking notes, watching these two play up here in the front, and getting his strategy together to see if he can put something together for these guys, Poole and Matheson up here in front, John.
Yeah, Davis is what Davis might be looking and waiting for is potentially some contact between Poole and Matheson. We've seen on a couple occasions those two cars get really close to each other as they kind of feel each other out like two prize fighters would in a bout. So Davis is hoping that maybe one of them has a mental lapse, cause maybe some contact, but he is sizing him up, and right behind him, Brad Sanford. P4, he's lying in wait, so maybe Eric Davis and Brad Sanford get together and get up there and dance with Poole and Matheson and see if they can't put a move together and get around these guys. So.
And Jacob Desmarais back here, 8th position, giving one up to the 53 car up here just moments ago. So Jacob Desmarais in that 21 machine moving backwards here just one notch, but hey, still a lot of racing to go here. Carlos Passos, who we were talking about before here, in 10th position. Looks like he's trying to do battle with German Avondor. Of course, these guys have gotten after it here a couple of times, but Carlos Passos back here in this number 2 machine in 10th position, guys. 213 miles an hour going into turn 3, coming off turn 4 down the front stretch. Let's take a look at his speed going through turn 1 here. Crosses the start-finish line, and that's a haul butt situation. Into turn 1, 214 miles an hour.
Yeah, these things don't sit back and wait when you've got that kind of power. As he now is looks like he's going to move up the inside of German Athendor. You got that power. I mean, these things are absolutely built for speed, and that arrow is just doing everything in helping him get around. So, good stuff so far. Actually, I don't think that was German. I think I misspoke there on the results. My apologies there.
Yeah, it's all right. I do that too sometimes. You're busy looking at stuff that happened a lap ago. Rewind it and forget to hit the fast forward button, get back on track again, and sometimes you wind up calling action that's already passed. And guys over in the chat room, hey, those guys are quick to catch on to that stuff. It's like, hey, JD, what the hell?
Yeah, I've gotten called out quite a few times on the road racing side, on the Le Mans races that we cover. I've been called out quite a few times for misspeaking and being a little bit behind on the streams. So, I guess it happens to the best of them, or in my case, the worst of them. So, it happens. Still new to this gig. I'm still a rookie. Dang it.
We'll get you saddled up here. 13th position back here, Miles Craft. We haven't talked about him tonight in that black and yellow machine of his. Beautiful looking car. Up on the outside through the tri-oval, he gave up the position to Andy Small in that 02 machine. Remember that 02 machine was involved in the caution back on lap 49 with the 23 car. The 23 car just got flat airborne and went for that e-ticket ride. But Miles Crabb holding down 13th position back here at 78 laps in the books.
Yeah, good action. So good. Still doing the follow the leader at the front. So let's see how this all shakes out here.
Hey guys, the person I've been keeping my eye on is that 22 Michael Temple. After he got that black flag, went a lap down, he's got it back, and now he's doing everything to work over the guys in front of him to gain as many positions and maybe get back up to second or third where he was at the beginning of this race, and maybe he'll be able to contend for the win by the end.
You're absolutely right, Matt. You know, we mentioned on that last restart, all the way in the back, I believe it was 20th position that he restarted. So able to make up 10 positions here in the last about 8 or 9 laps. So Michael Temple in that 22 car on his way to the front, guys.
Yeah, he certainly had the pace early on there for sure, and then had the unfortunate situations come up. But yeah, right on. I mean, he is moving through the field and setting down some pretty good lap times. So 2:16, 2:17 down into the corner. So yeah, this guy is hauling the bricks there as he's now looking to make a pass on German, near contact there down the back straightaway. But it looks like he's going to take over German's position, and looks like we could be talking about him getting around Jacob Demaris before the end of the next lap.
Watching his lap times here, though, he's about something's going a little haywire here. Let's see. I'm getting a 24.9 on Michael Temple, 24.688 on Poole, who's leading the race up here. So you know, even if this keeps up, Temple is still considerably off the pace as far as the leaders go. He's making quick time of these guys in front of him. He's going after the 21 machine, Jacob Desmaris right now. Temple taking a peek, coming off of turn 2, couldn't get the job done, but goes up to the outside, going into turn 3, still can't get the job done. And now here comes German Appler fighting back down there here on the bottom. So pretty good little race going on back here, about 10th position, guys.
Yeah, stuff certainly is getting dicey, so looks like while those guys up front sort things out, these guys in the back are going to put on a hell of a show, and that's exactly what's happening.
All right, and I'll tell you what, the viewers watching it here on ETV Live, I'll tell you what, they're watching the best of the best here at Cowboy, and John's got the side-by-live going on up here, so you can actually watch a couple of different cars at different places on the track as these battles start to unfold here. 85 laps in the book, and you will only see it right here on ETV Live. The innovators, the creators, who has set the bar for you up a couple of notches to bring you the best of the best in sim racing broadcasting. And I'll tell you what, innovators, talk about you know, some innovation. You want to catch the Friday night showdown here this Friday night. Back in the saddle again, we'll be at Iowa Speedway, Sean, and you know, you're welcome to join us on the ETV Live Radio. We're going to have a pre-race radio show a half hour before the race. Then we'll transition to David Bass and Michael Conti up in the booth after our radio show, but it's going to be a lot of fun. Kind of an informal look back at the week's activities here at ETV Live, a couple of driver interviews, and of course talking about the Iowa Speedway coming up for the Friday Night Showdown. That all happens starting at 7:50 p.m. Friday night, Cowboys, so you want to tune in and join us for sure.
Yeah, sounds like fun. Might have to stop on by and say hello.
Absolutely. I'll tell you, I'm still watching that 9th position down here. German Affendor trying to get around that 21 machine up here, that bright yellow banana-looking car of Jacob Desmaris up here. Looking for a way around. He's been at the top, on the bottom. Now down here on the bottom, comes through the turn, but that 21 machine just seems to find the grip, hangs on, has the horsepower, overtakes, and comes right down in front of him across the start-finish line. But I'll tell you what, Affendor not giving it up that easy as he works that draft, pulls right up to the back of that 21 machine, and hopes to, you know, get that vacuum cleaner action going and suck him right around. But ain't going to happen, Cowboy, is that 21 car covering the bottom down there pretty good.
Yeah, that move in the last lap there, German went in way too inside there. Looks like he's going to try to make a move on him again, but he's going too far inside, and he's just about lost it. And, oh, it looks like we got some trouble there.
Oh, Michael Dutemple in big trouble, guys, on the backstretch. Michael Dutemple in a 22 car up against the inside wall here. Let me roll it backwards here. I'm not quite sure what happened, whether he blew a tire or what happened, but he took a dive. Oh! Looks like, oh, German Appendor, something major happening to Appendor's car, gets sideways right in front of Dutemple's car. And I got a funny feeling that may end Dutemple's night.
That's absolute crying shame after the run that he was having back through the field. I mean, he was absolutely moving, and looks like it's all but over after resting up against the inside wall.
Yeah, I don't know if John's got it up on the E1 yet, but I'll tell you what, Cowboy, the 5 machine down here putting up a terrific fight. And I'm watching him. He's got the 21 up on the outside, comes through the middle of the turn here, and the back end just starts breaking loose. There's that arrow lift on the back end, and unfortunately goes up into the path of Dutemple, and gonna, I believe that's probably going to end Dutemple's night, guys.
Yeah, tough break for him, sure. So yeah, such a promising run going, and another to kind of wonder, you know, what kind of position we're going to be in when it comes down to fuel, tires, and all of that kind of stuff going forward, if everybody comes in, or if we see any kind of cheeky little moves. So
yeah, and the odd thing is no caution coming out on that. Of course, Dutemple able to get his car back down off the track surface on the next to the pit wall down. But no caution coming out, so the battle continues out in front with Matheson and Poole. Poole, your pole sitter here tonight, working down the backstretch. And Matheson, he's just been playing follow the leader here, 95 laps in the book. So we're on the downhill side here at Kentucky Speedway with the open wheel tonight. And I'll tell you what, I'm having a lot of fun in the booth with Sean Pension from OpenPaddock.net fame. You can catch that live on Tuesday nights here on ETV Live. Of course, Matthew Close calling the action down around Pit Road with us. All the action being brought to you tonight by Vapex Racing Group. And that's Ted Severn's group with InsideSimRacing.com as a co-sponsor. Darren Ganji and his boys over there, InsideSimRacing.com.
Yeah, it's a little interesting that we didn't get a caution there. I'm a little bit surprised, but you know, that'll certainly kind of add to the drama, I think. But yeah, this is great racing out here with these open wheel guys, and it's just real interesting to watch Terry Matheson at the front there, just stalking Jeremy. I mean, you know, he's got to be thinking, you know, I've got this, I'm just going to follow him around the racetrack, because it's so much easier to be the hunter as opposed to the hunted. So it'll be interesting to see. As you see, he has a chance on the back straightaway to make that move, and he just tucks back in line like he's not even inching leading the laps right now. So certainly I think that the top two could probably be reversed before it's all said and done, given what I'm watching Terry kind of do as he follows Jeremy around the track.
See, no, if I was that 14 car, if I was Matheson up there, you know, what would be going through my mind is a psychological thing. I'm going to mess with Poole up there a little bit, and I'm going to cause him to keep looking up in his mirror. I want him to see where I'm at. I want him to see me trying to, you know, make a move, taking a peek here and there. You think that's going to upset Poole's concentration there a little bit, John?
Yeah. Yeah, this is going to kind of cause a little bit of problem. Going to, you know, get in his head a little bit. And again, that's why I'm telling him, you know, just look forward and just keep going. And Terry, you know, he's just going to find a way eventually.
You bet. Let's take it on down to Matt Close. Matt, what do you got for us, bud?
What I'm starting to notice is these guys haven't been on pit road. The leader, Jeremy Poole, and next to him, Terry, they haven't been on pit road since about lap 50, 52 or somewhere around there, and that's going to be almost a 70-lap green flag run for the both of them. I don't think they can make it, and I'm hearing that they'll be very close on fuel if they do try and go the distance. So as much as Jeremy Poole's got to keep his head straight forward on the track, he might be wanting to get some information on how much farther he can actually make it on his tank.
Yeah, you know, messing around in the garage this afternoon, talking to a couple of drivers, I hear that they started with an 80% load here tonight, so 17.5 gallons is all they can get on a stop. So, and I don't know, you know, these guys are real secretive, much more secretive about their setups on these cars. Just going back to what Sean was talking about, you know, the aerosensitivity of these cars and how dynamic they are, but these guys are unwilling to share information with even the guys up here in the booth. So I have no clue how many laps they can go on a tank of gas here. They're just not willing to talk. But let's take you up here to Rob Whitmore, position 12 up here in that white number 70 car, almost making contact here a little while ago with, I believe it was that 24 car, but nothing happened. I thought for sure that that was going to be caution number 5. But I'll tell you, quite a battle shaping up back here. Almost 3 wide coming off of turn 2 with the 24 machine. I'll tell you what, there is a huge battle happening back here. 13th, 12th, 10th position up here, guys.
Yeah, it looks like these guys have got real close together. A lot of similar setups here going on, and I mean, they're just flying around there, using those tires, using all the racetrack, and trying to find any way possible that they can streak around each other. As we've just got some crazy stuff as they're looking to go 3 wide again.
I'll tell you what, Aaron Reinhold in that 43 machine covering the bottom lane down here, and the 24 machine of, Carlos Passos in that 2 machine look up for a way, trying to wind his way through here as things start to finally get sorted out here a little bit. But I don't think it's over yet. Reinhold covering the bottom up here, Passos on his way to the front. Rob Whitmore in front of him tangled with these guys here about 3-4 laps ago. So things are starting to heat up here. 106 laps in the book here at Kentucky Speedway with the Simulated Sports Car Associates race here tonight. This is the 2nd race in the series for these guys. We'll be broadcasting 2 more races for these boys, so looking forward to that. But right now, Jeremy doing a master job up here in front. Started out on the pole, slipped backwards here a couple of notches in the early part of the race, got it together, back out in front, but I'll tell you what, Terry Matheson in that 14 machine, like Sean says, has been stalking that 99 car all night long.
Yep, it's just all about setting him up, you know, see where his weak points are. And again, like was mentioned from Matt down on the pit road, you know, Terry could be just sitting behind him trying to get as much of that slipstream as he possibly can. And speaking of the devil, it looks like we've got an update from pit road.
So far we've seen Josh Hemmett and Nick Leap both come down and get gas and maybe a couple tires thrown on those cars, and so far it's showing that the leaders won't be able to make it from when they last pit. We're going to probably see them coming down any lap now, maybe 5 to 10 laps at the earliest.
And that's just going to be devastating for these guys, as there goes, it looks like Matheson and Poole now heading down into the pits for service.
All right, leaders coming down pit road. We'll keep an eye on that action. And as they cross the commit line at, I believe, 45-mile-an-hour pit road speed here at Kentucky. It don't matter what car you're in, Cowboy. It's 45 miles an hour. Don't get caught by that radar gun. Terry Matheson and your leader, Jeremy Poole, actually your pole sitter, working their way into their pit box. That's going to put Ted Severns out in front with Andy Small. Unknown where these guys stand as far as fuel goes. So we'll keep an eye on the 99 and the 14 on pit road with the side-by-live, and also our leader out here on the track, find out what Severns is going to do in that number 32 car. 112 laps in the books here at Kentucky Motor Speedway, so I tell you what, we are definitely on the downhill side of things here as Poole and Matheson make their way back out onto the track.
Yeah, it looks...
The 02 of Andy Small actually ran out of gas the last lap running down the back straightaway, and he's just merely making his way coasting down pit road right now as he's going to lose a few extra laps running out of gas and having to coast that half a lap. So.
Yeah, that's, again, it looks like the fuel mileage. I said at the beginning of the race that Kentucky sometimes throws those fuel mileage races at you, and it looks like that's exactly what we're dealing with here, as Ted Severns now finds himself in the lead. And you know, I don't know what his status is actually on the pits, if he's got to stop again or not. But I mean, we're getting down there to where there's not a whole lot of time left here.
Yeah, I'm trying to get my stats. Trying to get my stats pulled up here so I can take a look and see where it was that Severns pitted last.
Well, JD, he last pitted around, it seems to be lap 62 to 63, so he does have the extra 10 laps of gas in that car and the few caution laps that he may have been able to preserve. And it looks like he is the best to make it on fuel. He was in the pack and slipstreaming that whole time. They're telling me that it's going to be close, but he's going to try and go the distance on this tank of gas, most likely.
All right, 32 car out in front, and Jeremy Poole, who was your leader for the most of the race here tonight, he and the number 14 car of Matheson. Now Matheson is down 2 laps, guys. Something happening to that 14, Sean.
Yeah, Severns is in. He's coming in the pits right now, actually.
All right, leader of the 32 car coming down pit road, so apparently not going to be able to make it. But I'm more concerned about Terry Matheson, guys. Matheson. And that 14 machine down 2 laps, guys.
Yeah, so we've got a lot of now we've got the leader number 31 and Miles Crabbe. He's coming in the pits now. So a lot of high drama here with just about 3 laps to go.
You've got 117 laps in the books here, and this thing is a wind down. So. And Miles Crabb on pit road. It almost sounds like his car's running out of fuel, guys. It's going to turn the lead over to John G. Hill in the number 80 machine. Now he's low on the backstretch here, light on the throttle.
He's going to
only 176 miles an hour.
Looks like he may be trying to. It looks like he may be trying to coast, but here's the problem: he's got Jeremy Poole 11 seconds off, and that guy's got fresh tires, so it's going to be a run here. If he's spinning that throttle, and he's down
at full speed.
Yeah, they're down at 170 miles an hour trying to make it, and Poole's good to go.
Poole 6.9 seconds back at John G. Hill with 2 laps to go here, Cowboy, and John Hill way off the throttle, 160 miles an hour. Jeremy Poole doing a full throttle, 216 miles an hour as he starts closing the distance here. Poole trying to get it back, who sat on the pole here at Kentucky Motor Speedway, went backwards here a little bit, but pretty much hang on to all night long, boy. John G. Hill trying to hang on to it. Don't know if he's going to do it or not. I don't think so. Here comes Poole at 216 miles an hour through the turn the last time. Heading into the oval, and
Poole wins
Jeremy
it.
Poole wins it. I'll tell you what, you talk about a last lap effort, and you know, John G. Hill running out of fuel. He's going to fall all the way back, guys. But oh man, devastating night for that 80 car.
Yeah, that was nip-tuck perfect there for Poole. I mean, unbelievable to be able to get out there. I mean, that was as absolute close as you can get it.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, you know, you know, what do? Do you risk coming down pit road for fuel? You know, I mean, strategy plays into everything here. You know, especially these cars. I mean, you're doing over 200 miles an hour all the time. You know, what is the fuel strategy in one of these open wheel cars when you're at that kind of speed? But I'll tell you what, 120 laps later, Jeremy Poole taking it from pole to checkers here tonight at Kentucky Speedway. What a solid night of racing action here tonight.
Yeah, phenomenal work by Poole to get that car, to make that pit stop, get that call. Those other guys that were out there wouldn't have had a chance had they come in. The only chance they had in this race was to try their hardest to make that gas extend over those laps. But as I said before, Kentucky puts together these fuel mileage races, and that's exactly what we nearly saw, as Jeremy Poole, who dominated the event, almost lost the event, but was able to take it once all the other cars started running out of gas. So well played.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, and I do like these open wheel cars, and you know, a little bit of different kind of racing here at Kentucky Speedway and these open wheels. This is the first time that I've been able to sit in a booth and call a race here at Kentucky with the open wheels. Done it many times with the stock cars, but still had a good time up here. Of course, I got my buddy Sean pitching alongside, Matt Close helping us call the action from pit road, working different strategies, talking to crew chief, spotters, and of course John on the cameras. But a good night of racing here. Why don't we go ahead? We're going to go ahead and take a commercial break and see if we can't get our winners, at least our top three, here and just shortly. So coming from Kentucky Speedway live on ETV Live, don't wander off. We'll be right back.
Hey dude, are you ready to rock and roll? If that's cool, then you need to do it over at HD Radio Network. HD Radio Network, 4 stations broadcasting 24/7 with everything from metal favorites to the 80s classic rock like legendary Leonard Skinner, Electric Light Orchestra, Foreigner, and bone-rattling, skull-crushing rock and roll on hard driving radio. And partnered with Nuff World Simulation Gaming, check out the HD Radio Network's Nuff Radio with Bear Factory, Stone Temple Pilots, Def Leppard, and a whole lot more. HDRadionetwork.com. Take your pick and rock your brains out, dude. All right, welcome back to Kentucky Speedway here tonight with the Simulated Sports Car Associations. And what a night at Kentucky Speedway with the open wheel Indy cars here tonight. Jeremy Poole taking it from the pole to the checkers, Cowboy. And I'll tell you what a night of racing for that number 99 machine. Jeremy, sitting fifth in the overall driver points. How did that win happen tonight?
Well, first of all, I just had a great team behind me. We put it together in a wonderful set this week, and you know, fifth place coming into it after last week's first race. This hopefully will put me in the lead, and on the ovals, I just really need to hold my own.
I'll tell you what, I know you're for Poke Slow Racing Team. It ain't it wasn't very slow here tonight. No poking slow here tonight, Cowboy. And I'll tell you what, you know, at 216 miles an hour, we saw some fuel strategies being played out there tonight. You know, with those kind of speeds, I mean, what was going through your mind there towards the end of the race when you knew you had to come in and get fuel?
Well, we had worked out from the very beginning of the race. We knew that after lap 16, we could make it on one more stop, and then after lap 68, we were on no stops after that. There was a caution that ended just a few laps short of that 68 mark, and so I knew that if I went in, I was going to have to come back in again, so there was no point in getting back in traffic, and I just stayed out, and I knew the people that were going to try to push it were going to run out of gas.
And, you know, you were passing them right and left, but it comes down to the wire. John G. Hill up there in that 80 machine on the last lap. And we were covering that action. He's 170 miles an hour through the turns. It was obvious he was backing off the throttle a long time try to save that fuel. Could you see him headed? Did you know that he was doing that? Could you see him in front of you?
You know, I was expecting him to pit, and then when he didn't, I got a little nervous for a second, and then my spotter told me that you know, he was seeing him sputter on the front stretch, and it was just take it home from there.
All right, fantastic job here tonight from the pole to the checkers, Jeremy. Who made it happen for you?
Well, first I'd like to thank my team, Slowpoke Racing. We're our overall umbrella team, Slowpoke Racing. We did a great job this week. I'd like to thank my wife for watching the kids while I raced tonight, and just want to thank you all at ETV for doing this broadcast, and the SSCA guys for putting on the series.
Outstanding. I tell you what, Jeremy Poole, driver for Polk Slow Racing Team, taking the big one home tonight. I'm going to throw it on down pit road just a little bit. Sean Petchins come up, standing by with our second place finisher, Brad Sanford.
Yeah, Brad, great race for you. Nice result with second place. Kind of tell us how those last few laps unfolded in front of you, and how was your pit strategy looking as the race was winding down?
Honestly, I just need to thank everybody on my team, Slowpoke Racing. We all basically ran the same fuel strategy. I might have taken 1 gallon less, which allowed me to beat my teammate Eric Davis out of the pits. I noticed I came out with him on my tail, where he had pitted the lap before me but was ahead of me for the most part of the race.
All right, and we've seen some great action actually mid-pack around where you were running most of the night. How was it out there driving with all the different cars, and was your setup affected with a lot of that aero push, or did you guys really work that setup out going into the race?
I personally feel our setup was really dialed in. All the guys at Slowpoke Racing, from Jeremy Poole, the winner, Eric Davis, Terry, as well as Eric Davis and Mike DuTemple, we've put in a bunch of work with guys like Brandon Trano and John Porzik, and we were able to get through traffic pretty well. I just hung out in the back. I mean, I had qualified, I believe, 3rd or 4th this evening, and just ran my laps to the end, kept the car clean, and brought it home second because of fuel strategy.
Yeah, well, we had said at the beginning of the broadcast that Kentucky has a way of doing that and producing these awesome fuel mileage races, but I want to say congrats on your second place finish. Fantastic job. And I do believe that that Matt is standing by with our third and final podium position. Matt?
Hi, I'm here with Eric, and Eric, you ran up front all race, steady, consistent laps, and you just kept your nose out of trouble. Is there anything that you, like, driving-wise, how did your car feel for the rest of the race?
My car felt great during the race. It was, you know, once again, it was a team effort, and the setup was good. It was good in traffic, good out of traffic. I get a little bit of a push when I was following the guys up front, so I gave a couple tenths back just to let the car come down so I didn't wear out my front tires.
Now, Brad said you pitted that 1 lap extra before. I forget what he said exactly, but do you think that affected the position, or did you maybe get on pit road a little bad? What do you think?
Yeah, I think I got on the pit road a little slow. I was a little hesitant there. I should have practiced that because generally when we race this track, we kind of we pit off of the come out of a 4. But I should have practiced a little more. I think it was a little slow and a little hesitant going in, and it cost me probably a second or so right there.
All right, well, good and good luck to you in the future. I'm going to send it back up to the booth with JD.
Thank you.
All right, congratulations to all of our winners here tonight. And I'll tell you what a fantastic show these guys put on here at Kentucky Speedway. One more shot here, Cowboy. I want to talk to Ted Severns. Ted kind of manages this entire group here. Ted, I'm going to give you a few minutes. Plug these guys.
Well, I tell you one thing, that was a great race. I mean, everybody was very respectful. I didn't see all the race because I'm only in my own little world in my spot, but it looked like everybody respected one another. Maybe just the only incidents I think there were just actual spins, and those are going to happen. But it's a great series. I love the IndyCar, and it's just enjoyable to run in a series where you have respect and enjoy everybody you run with.
Absolutely, and the fun broadcasting these races with you guys. Of course, this is the first one live. We've got a couple more coming your way, and we're happy to do it, and really looking forward to it. And Ted, guys, he only lives about 20 miles from me, so I see either a night at a bar coming up or a good lunch coming our way here pretty soon.
Run, Ted, run.
Is that what it takes?
But a lot of fun here tonight with these guys and with the Vapex Racing Group, Inside Sim Racing. Of course, Darren Ganges guys over there, as we'll call them associate sponsors here tonight. But Ted, looking forward to the next ones. Sean Petchin up here working the booth with me here tonight has a pretty good show called OpenPaddock.net, open wheel racing IndyCar stuff. So you might want to tune in Tuesday nights at 9:30. You can catch the podcast over there at their website too, OpenPaddock.net. But more racing action coming your way on ETV Live this week. Tomorrow night we're going to be in Pocono with the Big Dogs boys in the ARCA mod. And then on Friday night, this is the one everybody's been waiting for, Cowboy. Friday night showdown. Coming back in the saddle again happens at 7:50 p.m. on the ETV Live radio channel with a pre-race show. And, of course, we'll turn it over to David Bass, Michael Conti, Dakota Ehrman up into the booth at 8:30 when we get things started at Iowa Speedway. So back in the saddle again, Cowboy. You do not want to miss that race here, Friday Night Showdown, Season 5. So for that, from Kentucky Motor Speedway with all the boys here at SSCA, Simulated Sports Car Associates, for Sean Peachin, John Westling, Matt Close. We'll catch you tomorrow night on ETV Live.